What's up, FA Nation? It's Thursday night, and you didn't think we were going to leave you here alone just because there was no Thursday night football, right? I'm Jen Piacenti. I'm joined by Adam Ronis. We're going to start out the evening with the big news of the night that Bregman just made a clutch play, barehanded, a throw to first, and got out Manny Margot. Astros are still in the lead. No, I'm just kidding. Adam, how are you doing? And then I really will get to the big news of the night. But first, how are you?
Doing well. Very odd here on a Thursday night that we do not have a football game. So it's a very weird week. We had Tuesday night football, which we're not accustomed to, and now no Thursday night football. But it gives plenty of time to people to set their lineups and absorb the injury reports. But as you said, we are still here.
We are still here, and I know there have been some issues with Twitter, guys. So if you're having any issues communicating with us on Periscope or Twitter, please go to YouTube and follow Fantasy Alarm, and we're live there, or Facebook and follow Fantasy Alarm there, and we will take your questions over the next half hour or so to help you with any Sunday decisions, DFS choices, start sit. Let's start out with the rumor. It's not fully confirmed yet, but Adam Schefter has taken to Instagram, and once things are on the gram, they're kind of official. It does seem that Le'Veon Bell will be playing with Pat Mahomes, and wow, what is your initial reaction? Do you have Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Do you have Le'Veon Bell? What are you thinking here?
I don't have either guy in redraft leagues. I do have CEH and some best balls because I was taking them, in June, July. Once it got to redraft, I just wasn't in a position to take them. The price went up, and it either had like a top 5 pick or I was picking late and he was gone. But I definitely wanted to get a piece, and he's been okay. I don't think he's lived up to expectations. He's had 7 carries inside the 5, hasn't been able to score. I think a lot of it has been the blocking hasn't been there, but he hasn't been this power back either. And he did have a touchdown call back last week on a penalty, but this is not good for him with Bell going there. I don't expect Bell to play this week, so I think CH for this week should be fine. But going forward, you got to think Bell is going to be heavily involved, and maybe I don't know if it's going to be 50-50, or at least Bell's going to get the majority of the touches. We know he's a good receiving back, and we see what he can do in a good system, and he's got to be rejuvenated. It's just a human nature thing when you are leaving a situation that is crappy as the Jets. Like, it's just going into work each day, even though you're a professional, you're getting paid a lot of money. I mean, it's all gloom and doom around that team. It's never anything positive, and that has to affect the mindset of players there. And now you're going to a Kansas City team that has high expectations, that is coming off a Super Bowl and just lost for the first time in quite a while. I mean, you got to be pumped up for that. So I don't think Bell is done. I think he does have something left, but I didn't want any part of him in that Jets situation, which is why I didn't draft him. But if you do have Bell, I mean, we knew it was only going to get better wherever he lands, and you would expect or hope for a clearer path, but they're trying to win. And if Bell comes in and shows that he's not done, I think he's going to get the majority of touches in this backfield. So it's not good for those that have CEH.
Yeah, it's not. And for those who had Le'Veon Bell, you were probably pretty disappointed that he wasn't playing and that they weren't using him. But now I think it feels pretty good that you took him. I think he went in the 4th round for most?
Yeah, 3rd, 4th, generally the 4th round of drafts. And look, it's just a better offense that can go down the field in the blink of an eye. And if they get near the goal line, he's going to have plenty of opportunities to score. We know he can catch the football as well. So it's definitely good for, his fantasy value. And it came down to apparently Miami and Kansas City. And you were thinking, like, why would he go to Miami for? I mean, look, they played pretty good, but that's not a team that you expect to contend for a Super Bowl, whereas Kansas City, they are in the mix.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy for him, to be honest. Other major injury news this week. Let's see. Oh, I should mention the Falcons. So the Falcons have shut down their facility again. All reports are that the game is still on. I have to say, personally, I really want the game to still be on because I built some nice DFS lineups around it, and I need Alexander Madison so badly this week. But we're just holding there. Guys, I think you kind of know the drill here. Have a backup plan. Stay on top of the news. set your lineup Sunday morning. Any other pieces of advice here? What is your gut feeling about this game playing?
Yeah, it seems like it is going to play.
I think
They
it is.
basically were just being, careful here. Apparently, I think I saw a report that said they could have gone back to the facility today. I think it was a coach, and they decided not to. So maybe they're back practicing tomorrow. Worst case scenario, maybe it gets pushed back to Tuesday. Maybe we get Tuesday Night Football again. But like you said, it's day by day at this point. There's nothing you could do right now. You look at your lineups and you go, okay, if this game doesn't get played, and look, they're trying to avoid that at all costs. But worst case scenario is, all right, what if this game doesn't get played this week? Because I believe neither team has had a bye yet. So maybe they could fix things like they did and move one team around 17 times like they did with the Chargers. So what I would do is just look at your lineup and go, okay, if this game does get postponed, what am I going to do? And then look at your roster and act accordingly. Don't make any rash moves yet. I'm assuming everyone still has the ability to go to the waiver wire, whether there's another waiver wire run or there's first come, first serve at some point during the weekend. So don't make any rash decisions yet. But I'm with you. I have Madison in a lot of leagues. I have Dalvin Cook in 3 leagues. I made sure to get Madison in all of them during the draft.
Me too.
And then I drafted Madison separately in a few leagues where I love for him to play this week. So, and I got Adam Thielen in a couple leagues, Kirk Cousins. Not as much on the Atlanta side, a little Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones in 1 league, no Matt Ryan. Hayden Hurst I've kind of just gotten tired of at this point. But yeah, I want this game to be played as well.
Yeah. OBJ did leave practice with an illness today. We don't know whether it's COVID-19 or not. I assume they will test him and we'll find out. But do keep your eyes on that as well, guys, because it's possible that there won't be OBJ this week if he does have COVID or if he's just sick. So keep an eye on his practices. Stephen Gilmore was back to practice today, as was Cam Newton. So if you're a Jerry Jeudy owner, that's not very exciting, but otherwise it's probably okay, right? Aren't they playing Denver this week?
Yeah, they are.
Or did that game get shuffled? They are, okay. DJ Chark didn't practice today due to the ankle. Laviska Shenault already looked pretty good in this group. He may look even better if there's no Chark, but it does make me worry a little bit about Gardner Minshew because we did see Gardner Minshew in the one game without Chark wasn't as good, and I don't think it's because Chark is his only target because, for God's sakes, we can't tell who he's going to target from game to game. It could be anybody. But I think for some reason there seems to be some kind of a mental thing there. I don't know if you noticed that, Adam, but it makes me worry more about Minshew if Chark isn't playing.
Yeah, I mean, that was a short week. It was against the Dolphins. So I think DJ Chark, even though he's been inconsistent, is kind of that deep threat that stretches the defense. And without him, they seem to lack it. So that is something to keep an eye on for Minshew. Shenault is a guy I've been starting in a league or two the last couple weeks. I thought he's looked really good. So he would obviously move up the rankings. And I still have him right now, I think, as a wide receiver 3 anyway. I do have Chark in the rankings for now, but might have to take him out tomorrow, pending the practice report. He has not practiced yet this week with the ankle injury. And Chenault's got a good matchup with Detroit. And we've seen his targets go up each and every week. So definitely feel good about him, whether Chark plays or not. I think he's deserved, especially with 4 teams on bye, I think he deserves to be started in a lot of formats.
Yeah, I agree. And they design plays for this guy. He's not just a receiver. They use him so many different ways. So I like Chenault a lot. And if you watch him play, he looks really good. He looks great, actually, when you watch the game. So I'm going to just take a couple questions on Facebook now, and then we'll continue talking if we don't have more. I know that, again, I'll mention Twitter is down. I know it's a little glitchy right now. So please, if you're seeing this but can't write in, please go over to YouTube, follow Fantasy Alarm, and we are live there, or go to Facebook and follow Fantasy Alarm there, and we're live there too. Anyway, you should do that anyway, because obviously that's what all the cool kids do. So, be part of the club. All right. A. Robinson or Galladay PPR. So Allen Robinson or Galladay. Why do you have to choose, Darian?
These are both top 10 options this week. It's very close. I do like Galladay a lot this week.
Me too.
Carolina's defense is banged up. I lean Robinson, but I really like both, and I have both in the top 10. So like Jen said, you should be starting both. I mean, that means what? You have Hopkins, Thielen, Devontae Adams too?
It seems he has Godwin. He said, but he's asking a second question. Assuming Godwin doesn't play in PPR, DJ Moore, T. Higgins, or Fulgham?
It's DJ Moore for me. I know he has not lived up to expectations. Fulgham gets Baltimore. We also have to see if Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey come back. Higgins obviously is a better play now, but it's the Colts defense, which has been pretty good. So I'm going to go with DJ Moore.
I can tell you it's definitely not Higgins. I will say the interesting thing about Fulgham is versus Baltimore. I'm trying to find my notes. Baltimore is actually a little bit sneaky of a matchup because they have given up a lot of yards through the air. And I don't have total passing yards. Baltimore has given up the 10th most so far this year, and total passing yards per game, the 7th most. So there is some value there. And for Fulgham, I understand that he is going to be their X receiver. Now it's a nervous thing. Like, I wouldn't start him over DJ Moore. I agree, but keep your eye on him.
Yeah, the problem is
if you have other injuries or no plays, he is in play, and I would play him over Higgins. You'd play Higgins over Fulgham?
I think Baltimore will get pressure on Wentz. That's the biggest problem. Some of the other teams that they gave up production to were, teams that had a good offensive line or, a quarterback like Mahomes. We saw McLaurin have a big game against them, but Wentz has been under a lot of pressure. The offensive line has a lot of issues, so I kind of worry about them in this matchup. And we saw last week what they did to the Bengals.
We did. But I was just a little surprised Philly hung in there as much as it did versus Pittsburgh. So I'm not as scared about the O-line as I was. I don't know. I mean, I like Fulgham is the point of this. I think it wasn't just a flash in the pan, and he may be useful going forward. Okay, my wide receivers are Galladay, OBJ, Juju, Shark, and Amari. His tight end is Evan Ingram. Should I trade OBJ for Jonnu Smith?
No.
I think he's okay to roll with Ingram, right?
Yeah, that's the problem with tight end. I mean, I've kind of talked about this the last couple of weeks on different shows. Every year we go through this. Oh yeah, the tight end's deep this year. There's a lot of options, and then the season starts and we get to week 4, week 5, and it's like, oh shoot. I mean, Zach Ertz, no one trusts right now. Evan Ingram, people don't trust.
Right.
Hayden Hurst, people don't trust. We don't know if Noah
Mike Gesicki.
I think Gesicki is. Can you say trust? No, but he's one of the tight ends I actually feel better about. Tyler Higbee, no. So that's the problem. You're never going to feel comfortable with your tight end, and that's what's crazy is right now, at least this week for sure, Jonnu Smith's top 5 this week, especially with the lack of options they have there. So I think Ingram could have a good game this week. He's getting the targets. Again, the Giants had a tough schedule to start. I didn't like what I saw from the offense last week, though. That was a game that against the Cowboys you would expect them to produce, and Daniel Jones didn't have a passing touchdown. But I'm not ready to make that move yet.
So you would not get rid of OBJ to get Jonnu Smith?
No,
because I think basically what you're saying is there's not a discernible enough difference at the tight end position to make giving up a talent like OBJ worth it.
Yeah, and look, OBJ is going to have some weeks that are a little down because the lack of passing, but you saw how he can win you a week against the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
He looks fine. Yeah. He looks fine. He's going to be the lead target guy in that team. This is a game with Pittsburgh this week that they might have to pass a little bit more. We saw Pittsburgh is getting burned by deep passes. I mean, we saw what Philly did last week. That's the weakness is their secondary. So if Wentz can just if Baker can get a little bit of time, Baker has not played well too. That's hurt Beckham, but I think you could see Beckham, get a long touchdown this week. It
doesn't matter. They can just have Landry throw the ball. It's fine.
If Landry, he's on the injury report again with a rib injury. They have been limiting his practices anyway because he's coming off the hip surgery and he's never missed a game in his NFL career. But it is something to keep an eye on because he did leave that game late last week.
Grande's Packers are rolling. Aaron Rodgers is killing it. Yes, he is. And I imagine, are you expecting a shootout between Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers?
I think we could see some points here. I mean, Tampa Bay's defense has been up and down. They've looked good at times. They've been vulnerable at others. VA is out. Uh, Carlton is banged up. So, yeah, I think we could see some points in this game.
Okay, trying to see what this got. Dalton today or Ryan?
For this week, I'm gonna go.
For Dalton or Ryan? For this week,
I'm gonna go Dalton.
I think you need.
Especially if Julio Jones is out. I mean, we just see Matt Ryan's not the same quarterback, and everyone's going to say, well, it's Minnesota. Minnesota's actually been better the last few weeks, defense. I mean, Seattle didn't do anything for a while. So they've improved. I'm not saying they're a good defense.
Yeah.
I don't think there's many in the NFL, but they've gotten better over the last couple weeks. I mean, we saw Tyler Lockett only had 44 yards. Will Fuller was the only one to do anything against them in week 4. So, it's 3 bad games. And yeah, Matt Ryan's going to turn it around. And you could say, well, they made a coaching change. But I'm going to go with Dalton. We saw him come.
Dalton is the floor play. If you want a solid floor, you're going to get it with Dalton. And sure, they're going to run the ball more with Zeke, and they should, but they're also going to make some big, spectacular plays. And to me, it also boosts Michael Gallup a little bit. I think that Gallup could be in play because that may be the way that Andy needs to play. And Matt Ryan is absolutely an awesome play, but I'm playing Matt Ryan in DFS.
Yeah, I mean, you could get him at low ownership, you would think, because people like to look at game logs, and he has struggled the last few weeks.
Right.
But in season-long leagues, I'm going to go with Dalton. I know he's got a lot of weapons here. The offensive line isn't that good. So, yes, the Cowboys' offense is probably going to try and run the football a little bit more, but I don't see them stopping Arizona. I mean, Kyler Murray's going to run on them. So Dalton's going to be forced to throw a little bit. So I would go with Dalton this week.
Woods, Deontay Johnson, or Chark if he plays?
Only one of them? I mean, that's a decision you really can't make today because we don't know about Chark. Deontay Johnson did practice today. So I would probably lean towards him. I mean, Woods.
Deontay?
Yeah, I think so.
I think I would go Woods.
Woods is kind of, you know what? I'll go Woods. Yeah, he's safe.
I think he's safer.
I'll go with Woods.
And he has less competition for targets. Plus, they're facing Washington, right?
No, the Rams.
No, that's last week. They're San Francisco. Oh yeah, and they were terrible last week.
Yeah, pretty bad.
Okay, need a Hail Mary and a PPR. Akers, Pirine, or McKissick?
This is close.
Yeah.
McKissick because he's been heavily involved.
It's the most opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, Akers is. This is tough because we did hear McVay say last week that they were going to give Akers more opportunities beginning this week, and he had a nice run at the end of the game. I want to say Akers, but there's also the possibility of Henderson getting off to a good start, and they stick with him because I think that's what they're doing right now is the hot hand. I think they want Akers to be the guy. Giants are favored slightly. So that's the only thing. What if Washington takes the lead? Then we see less McKissick. So it's close. I lean McKissick, but, Akers might finally get that chance this week. But it's a roll of dice. That's not a bad Hail Mary to have. I was expecting it to be worse.
Yeah, it's actually not. So the guy who was asking Robinson or Galladay earlier, his other receiver is Hollywood Brown. Wouldn't you start Robinson and Galladay over Brown?
No doubt. Easily.
Yeah,
I agree
me too.
with you.
Me too.
Galladay is going to crush this week. I like him in DFS. He had the week off last week. He's been banged up. He's had extra time to get healthy. That Jacksonville game, probably going to be high scoring. 2 bad defenses. So this is a week I think Galladay goes off. And I'm not sure if he's going to have high ownership. We'll see, next couple of days. And Robinson is just getting targets every single week.
So many targets.
Carolina's defense is banged up. So you roll with those two. Look, I do like Hollywood Brown. And I do too. He's just missed. Lamar Jackson has just missed him on several throws this year. Like they just can't get in sync. But if you're telling me you got to play 2 of those 3, it's Galladay and Allen Robinson.
Same for me, because to me, Hollywood Brown is a bit of a boomer best player. Like you said, they haven't connected, and it would have been gigantic plays but they haven't yet. And so I don't want to bet on a big boom this week when I can get someone like Allen Robinson that could get 11, 12 targets. I mean, he's really heavily targeted. And Kenny Galladay's matchup is totally smashed. If you look at his defender, he's far superior player to anyone that's going to be guarding him this week in Jacksonville. So definitely both those guys are in play for me. AJ Brown or DJ Moore this week? I'm going AJ Brown.
AJ Brown. I mean, look, this guy, someone I liked a lot going into the year. We saw him first play of the game, get the touchdown last week. Now, he didn't practice Thursday. I'm not worried about it. It's probably maintenance. He's had this knee issue. They played Tuesday, so I'm not worried about it. So there's no indications that he's not going to play. Adam Humphries will be back. I don't think Corey Davis will, but Brown's going to get a lot of targets in this game. So, yeah, A.J. Brown.
Okay, guys, I'm jumping over to YouTube now if you want to follow us over there for questions. Do I accept Juju for James Robinson? He gets Robinson. Where I get Robinson? Okay, so he's getting Robinson. He's giving up Juju.
If he needs a running back that bad, yeah, I'm fine with it. I mean,
he doesn't. He has Jacobs, Drake, Gibson, and Mostert.
I don't know if you can count on Drake, though. That's the thing.
Well, who are your other wide receivers? I just don't know if I would give up Robinson.
Wait. I thought he's getting
Wait, I'm confused because this is what he wrote. Do I accept Juju for Robinson where I get Robinson?
Okay, so I
have Jacobs, Drake, Gibson, and Mostert. So he's getting Robinson, giving up Juju, right?
I kind of lean towards yes on this because we got Claypool, Deontay Johnson in the mix. We just haven't seen huge games from Juju this year. He's been touchdown dependent. Robinson seems to be the guy. I know Ozigbo got activated off the injured reserve, but they seem to be pretty high on Robinson. So I'm leaning towards doing it if you're good at wide receiver.
Robinson also has a really good matchup this week, so make that deal now. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Gibson, or Miles Sanders need 2.
Yeah, I don't think Bell's allowed to play this week due to the COVID situation. I think he will not play this week. So if that's the case, it's Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And who was it? Sanders and Gibson?
Miles Sanders and Gibson, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go with Sanders. Yeah. I mean, look, it's a tough matchup, but we saw last week in a tough matchup, he broke off a 74-yard run for a touchdown. I know he didn't really do much else, but that's how dynamic he is. So I'll go with him.
He had a 2-touchdown game last week too.
Yes.
So they're figuring out how to get the ball in his hands when they need to finally. Not enough. I know, not enough. You're right.
And they need to pass on the ball more. I don't understand. He's a really good receiver.
I know. I don't either. But it's okay because we're Cowboys fans. So what do we care? Brady or Dalton?
I'm gonna go Brady. I'm gonna go Dalton.
All right. Nice. I like it. I'm starting him in quite a few leagues this week. Darrell Henderson and Juju for Jonathan Taylor. Who gets what? I want Jonathan Taylor.
Me too. I'm okay with that trade. Look, Henderson's stock is going to go down. I mean, it's clear. Mm-hmm. He had that big week, and the next week they didn't go to him. Akers is back. Malcolm Brown's still there. We mentioned Juju is just, a good player, but, man, it's just we're seeing Deontay Johnson.
Competition for targets.
Yeah. So, I think Taylor – I know he's been disappointing, but I think that's a good buy low.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay.
He should go off against the Bengals this week, who are banged up. They just placed Sam Hubbard on injured reserve, and they lost Reed last week. So they're banged up on the defensive side, and they weren't great to begin with.
We got a lot of juicy matchups this week, actually. Who's your favorite play in DFS this week? Because there's like 3 or 4 nice little stacks I think you can make.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, I mentioned Galladay, who I do like. Also like Devontae Parker against the Jets. Running backs, Taylor, Derrick Henry. So, yeah, there's quite a few.
James Robinson's a good price. Alexander Madison's only $7,000 on FanDuel. So, I mean, I don't see that not being in play. I'm not sure what he is on DK. I think it's even, like, way cheaper than that. It's, like, a good price.
It was, off the top of my head, I thought he was 72 on DK.
DK?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, they changed the pricing.
Yeah,
okay.
He's going to be pretty popular for sure.
Yeah, so James Robinson's a good matchup this week. Even Todd Gurley might be someone you could play this week. And I'm trying to think, I don't know. This is kind of nasty and gross, but maybe David Johnson because Tennessee's actually given up a lot of ground yards until last week. Obviously, they looked pretty good, but David Johnson gets a lot of opportunity.
Laviska Shenault, especially if Chark is out.
Huge. Definitely. Laviska Shenault has a great matchup this week. Definitely should be in play. Yeah, and Galladay, like you said, so quite a few really great options. Okay, guys, I'm going over to YouTube. How do you feel about Clyde Edwards-Helaire now that Bell is in town? We actually started out with this. Adam, do you want to one more time recap how we feel about Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly not good for him. I mean, this was a guy that was getting a big workload, which is why we liked him. He was, we weren't seeing Darrell Williams cut into him. And even if this is a 50-50 split, it hurts Edwards-Helaire. We've already seen him having struggles trying to score near the goal line. So it hurts him. There's no question about it. I mean, if you have him, there's nothing much you can do. You're just not going to get proper return in a trade. You're good for this week because I don't think Le'Veon Bell is going to play. Let's not forget, November 1st, Jets at the Chiefs. Is everyone going to play?
Revenge game narrative.
We got a revenge game this week, too. Mike Davis.
That should be a fun one. I actually believe in that one, too. I do.
Look, Mike Davis is a good play, too. He's been getting it done every single week. I know the Bears are a tougher matchup, but can roll with him, too.
I agree. I have Mixon and Connor starting at running back with Madison and Henderson on my bench. Would you swap any one of them? I would play Madison over Mixon.
Yeah, for sure. Wait, was it Mixon and who was the other one?
Mixon and Connor.
Yeah. I'm going to go. Wait, Mixon's got Indy. Yeah. I actually might go Mixon.
Really?
Yeah.
Over Madison?
No. Madison is locked in. He's top 5.
So he's starting Mixon and Connor, but you would put Madison in over Connor and play Mixon and Madison?
Yes.
Okay. I would not. I would because I think the Indianapolis defense has been really good and Mixon hasn't. And so I'm going with Connor.
Touches last week and caught.
Yeah.
He has 11 targets the last 2 weeks. They're getting him more involved in the passing game. Connor's very touchdown dependent. They actually had, I think, Anthony McFarland on the field to start the game last week. So, and I have Connor in the league, so I hope he does well. But I don't know. They seem to be mixing in some other running backs, and Connor got bailed out by a touchdown last week.
Mixing in. Okay.
That's the bottom line. You got to play Madison. There's probably no situation. There's no situation where we're going to tell you to bench Madison this week.
No, there's not. And you wouldn't play Henderson over any of these guys, right?
No,
because you can't play that lotto. Like is it going to be Brown, Henderson, Akers? I'm staying away. I don't like it.
Yeah, look, people have injuries and they're going to be forced to play one of those. Like we had a lottery ticket question earlier involving them. But when you have the options that we just heard, no, you're not playing Henderson.
All right, one last question because it's already 7:30. Time flies when you're having so much fun.
And then you have to watch the episodes.
And then I can watch the Astros. How's it go? Can you tell me the score?
It's 3-2 Houston, bottom of the 6th. 1 out, no one on.
I know I'm the only person rooting for the Astros here, but you guys can just let me have my moment here, right? OBJ or Deontay Johnson, 12-team PPR?
I gotta go with Beckham right now, I think. Yeah.
I agree. I would go with Beckham here, but please check the injury reports. Definitely double check this Sunday morning. He did leave practice today because he was feeling sick. And even if it's not COVID, obviously the first thing we all think is COVID. Even if it's not COVID, flus can be bad and they can make you feel bad for a few days. And he may just be under the weather. So keep that in mind. Just see if he practices.
Yeah, keep that in mind. We're probably going to be dealing with this. Like, usual sicknesses were never a big deal. Now, if anyone shows any sign, they're going to send them home because they don't want to take risks.
Yeah. Right. And that's just a reality. And we also need to remember that regular sicknesses exist too. It's not just COVID-19. So he could just have a really bad flu and that could make him sick and not a good option to play. So we're always just thinking about COVID-19 now, but people get other illnesses too. They still happen. But that's it. So it's already 7:30. You guys, if you have any more questions, you can head over to fantasyalarm.com. There's a 24/7 chat there. Howard Bender and I will be back Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Hopefully we'll have all the information we need to answer all your questions by that time. And Adam, what are you doing the rest of the night?
Watching baseball. I'm excited to see the ending here for Houston and Tampa. and then seeing if the Dodgers
The
can
ending? What is that? What are you implying? What do you mean the ending?
the ending of this game. It's in the sixth
Of
inning.
this game.
Yeah.
Of this game.
I
Okay,
don't, I
just
don't,
making
I
sure
don't,
that
I
that
don't
was
hate,
the
I
draft.
don't hate the Astros like other people, but I am rooting for the Rays because like
All right.
they're a team I liked before the year, and then in my betting preview I said that they probably are going to win the American League, so I want to be right.
Okay. I mean,
Um,
that's fair.
and
But
then
they have to change their hats. They have to
they're
change their
fine. I don't know why you don't
hats.
like
No,
them.
they're not fine. They look like they're slinging burgers in the back. They have to get. Why can't they just put the TB hats on? Why do they need the
They
stupid
have TV hats
ray?
today. They have TV
Oh
hats.
well, yesterday. Okay, well, yesterday they had the manta ray or whatever, and it just looks like I don't really need a souvenir from SeaWorld. Like it wasn't cool. So that's my advice to you, Tampa Bay.
Oh,
Get
and
cool
then also
uniforms.
tonight, Alarm After Hours, Justin Fensterman and myself,
Right.
Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio, midnight to 2 a.m. I know you're with them tomorrow, 1 to 3 a.m. Eastern.
1 to 3 a.m. because they put the best talent on in the middle of the night. You guys, we will catch you next week.